The next few days at Sunspire Academy were different from anything Ren had known before. The normal classes had stopped. Now, all 6 guardians trained together under Headmaster Valen's guidance. They practiced in a special room deep inside the mountain below the academy. The walls were made of smooth white stone that seemed to glow with its own light. In the center of the room, the heart of Sunspire rested on a small pedestal. "Focus," the headmaster said as they stood in a circle around the heart. "Feel the connection between you." Ren closed his eyes. He could sense the others around him. Mira's calm strength, Darian's fierce determination, Lyra's gentle wisdom, Kane's quick mind, and Jax's steady courage. The connection they had formed during the battle with the Nightbringer was still there, but weaker now. "The unity spell worked because you were in danger," the headmaster explained. "Fear can make magic stronger, but it's not reliable. You need to form a deeper bond." "How do we do that?" Mira asked. "By understanding each other, by knowing each other's hearts as well as you know your own." The headmaster had them sit in a circle with the heart in the center. "Each of you will share your deepest fear with the group. When you speak from the heart, the bond grows stronger." No one wanted to go first. Finally, Lyra spoke up. "I'm afraid of failing," she said quietly. "My family has been guardians for 9 generations. What if I'm the one who breaks that line?" As she spoke, her green magic swirled around her, flowing toward the heart. The crystal pulsed once, accepting her fear. Kine went next. "I'm afraid of losing control. My magic. Sometimes it's too strong. I'm afraid of hurting someone I care about." His blue magic joined Lyra's in the heart. One by one, they shared their fears. Jax was afraid of being alone. Talon was afraid of the darkness that sometimes called to him in dreams. When it was Darian's turn, he hesitated. "I'm afraid of not being good enough," he finally said. "Everyone expects me to be perfect, to be the leader. But what if I can't save everyone?" His gold magic flowed into the heart. Mira was last. "I'm afraid of losing the people I care about." She looked at Ren as she said this. "I've already lost my parents to the Shadowed Ones. I can't lose anyone else." Her silver magic joined the others. Now everyone was looking at Ren. He knew he needed to share his fear too, but it was hard to put into words. "I'm afraid," he started, then stopped. The words stuck in his throat. "I'm afraid that all of this, the academy, the guardians, the heart, it's all going to fall because of me. Because I'm not ready. Because I don't really belong here." As he spoke, fire magic flowed from his hands into the heart. The crystal glowed brightly, the 6 colors swirling inside it like a rainbow. "Good," the headmaster said. "Now you're truly beginning to connect." Over the next few days, they practiced channeling their powers through the heart. Sometimes they failed, but each time they tried, the bond between them grew stronger. They also learned more about their enemy. The Nightbringer wasn't always evil, the headmaster told them as they sat in the library one evening. "Once he was a guardian like you." "What happened?" Mira asked. "He wanted more power. He believed the heart should be used not just to protect Sunspire, but to rule the lands beyond. When the other guardians refused, he turned against them, and became the Nightbringer," Ren finished. "Yes. He found a different source of power, the Shadow Realm, a place between worlds where darkness has a life of its own." Darian leaned forward. "You said we only defeated a piece of the Nightbringer. What did you mean?" "The Nightbringer has split his soul into 5 parts, hiding them in different places. The piece you faced was just one of them. To truly defeat him, you must find and destroy all 5. "Where are they?" Kane asked. The headmaster unrolled an old map on the table. It showed lands far beyond Sunspire, deep forests, vast deserts, frozen mountains, and a stormy sea. "The pieces are hidden in the most dangerous places in our world, places where few dare to go." He pointed to each location on the map. "The Forest of Whispers, the Desert of Lost Souls, the Frozen Peaks, the Tempest Sea, and the final piece is in the Shadow Tower, the Nightbringer's fortress." The 6 guardians looked at the map with worried faces. These places were far from the safety of Sunspire. "We're not ready for this," Jack said. "No," the headmaster agreed. "But you will be, with training and time." But time was something they didn't have. That night, as Ren slept, he had another vision. He saw the shadowed ones gathering in a black tower far away. The 4 remaining pieces of the Nightbringer floated above them. Slowly, the pieces were coming together, forming the shape of a person. "The Heartkeeper thinks he is one," a voice said from the half-formed shape. "But he has only delayed the inevitable. Sunspire will fall, and the Shadow Realm will spread across this world." Ren woke with a gasp. The room was dark, but he wasn't alone. Mira stood by his door, her face worried. "You saw it too?" she asked. Ren nodded. "The Nightbringer is coming back together." They went to wake the others. All 6 guardians had shared the same vision. By the time they reached the headmaster's chambers, he was already awake. "I feared this would happen," he said. "The pieces are calling to each other. If they join, the Nightbringer will be more powerful than ever." "How long do we have?" Darian asked. "Days, maybe a week." Ren looked at his friends. They had trained hard, but were they ready to face what was coming? "We need to find the pieces before they can come together," he said. "That means leaving Sunspire," Lyra pointed out. "What about the academy?" Jax asked. "Without us, who will protect it?" The headmaster sighed heavily. "The remaining defenders will do what they can. But Sunspire's fate is tied to the Nightbringer now. If you don't stop him, nowhere will be safe." They spent the rest of the night preparing. Maps were studied, supplies were gathered, and weapons were chosen. Each guardian selected items that would help focus their magic outside the academy. As dawn broke, they stood at the main gates of Sunspire. The golden shield still surrounded the academy, but it looked thin and fragile in the morning light. "Remember your training," the headmaster told them. "Remember the bond you share, it's your greatest strength." "What if we fail?" Talon asked. "Then return here. Sunspire has stood for 1,000 years, it will not fall in a day." The headmaster touched the heart, which hung from a chain around Ren's neck. "This will guide you. It's connected to all the pieces of the Nightbringer. It will lead you to them." They said their goodbyes. Students and teachers gathered to watch them leave, many with tears in their eyes. These 6 were Sunspire's last hope. As they passed through the shield, Ren looked back at the golden towers rising against the blue sky. He had only been at the academy for a short time, but it already felt like home. "We'll come back," Mira said, seeing his face. "All of us." Ren nodded, but he couldn't shake the feeling that nothing would ever be the same again. The battle for Sunspire had only just begun. The heart pulsed against his chest, pointing the way to the first piece of the Nightbringer. Together, the 6 guardians set off into the unknown. The 6 students raced through the halls of Sunspire Academy, the heart of Sunspire clutched in Ren's hands. Behind them, flashes of light lit up the windows as Headmaster Valen battled the Nightbringer. "This way," Darian said, leading them down a narrow staircase. "The library is in the West Tower." Students and teachers rushed in all directions, trying to reach the safety of the underground shelters. Outside, the golden shield flickered weakly, barely holding back the darkness. "What about everyone else?" Ren asked, looking at the frightened faces they passed. "The defenders will protect them," Mira said. "Our job is to find the hidden chamber the headmaster mentioned." When they reached the library, it was empty. Thousands of books lined the walls from floor to ceiling. In the center of the room stood a large round table with a map of Sunspire and the lands around it. "Where would a hidden chamber be?" asked the red-haired girl with green magic. Her name was Lyra. "The headmaster said it was beneath the library," said the boy with blue magic. "His name was Kane, so there must be a way down." They spread out, searching the room. Ren placed the heart on the table and joined the search. The crystal pulsed with a faint light, almost as if it was tired. The building shook again. Dust fell from the ceiling. "We don't have much time," Darian said, pushing aside books to check the walls. Mira stood in the center of the room, looking at the map on the table. "Wait," she said suddenly. Look at this. They gathered around her. She pointed to the map. This isn't just a map of Sunspire, it's a key. The map showed the academy and the surrounding mountains in great detail. 5 small gems were embedded in it at different points around the academy: silver, green, blue, red, and gold. The 5 powers, the guardian with red magic said. His name was Talon. Mira nodded. And look. She pointed to the center of the map where the central tower was marked. There was a small hollow space just the right size for the heart. Ren picked up the crystal and placed it in the hollow. It fit perfectly. The moment the heart touched the map, all 6 gems began to glow. The table itself started to move, sliding to the side to reveal a staircase leading down into darkness. The hidden chamber, Darian said. They hurried down the steps. As the last of them entered, the table slid back into place above them, sealing them in. The staircase was long and winding. It took them deep beneath the academy. The only light came from the heart, which Ren still carried, and the faint glow of magic around each guardian's hands. Finally, they reached a large circular room. The walls were covered in ancient writing and pictures showing the history of Sunspire. In the center stood a round stone table with 6 indentations. Put the heart in the center, Lyra said. Ren placed the crystal in the middle indentation. It fit perfectly, and its light grew stronger. What now? Asked Jax, the 5th guardian with yellow magic. As if in answer, images appeared in the air around them. They showed 6 figures standing in a circle, their hands joined. In the center floated a crystal that looked like the heart. The original, guardians, Mira whispered. The images changed, showing the 6 figures fighting against a dark shadow that looked like the Nightbringer. They were losing until they joined hands and combined their powers. The heart between them grew brighter and brighter until it exploded with light, driving back the shadow. The unity spell, Darian said, but more powerful than what we tried. We didn't do it right, Kane realized. We were just sending our power to the heart. We need to connect to each other as well. Another image appeared. It showed the 6 original guardians placing objects on the table around the heart. A silver ring, a green leaf, a blue feather, a red flame, a golden coin, and a clear crystal. Focus points, Talon said. They used objects to focus their powers. Lyra looked around the room. But where are they now? We don't have anything like that. Ren studied the images more closely. I don't think we need the exact same objects. Look. He pointed to the clear crystal in the image. The person holding that looks like your father, Mira finished. She could see the resemblance. The building shook violently. Dust and small stones fell from the ceiling. The academy won't hold much longer, Darian said. We need to figure this out now. Ren closed his eyes, trying to think. The heart seemed to pulse in time with his heartbeat. He could feel a connection to it stronger than before. I think I understand, he said slowly. The objects weren't just random things. They were important to each guardian, something that represented their power. So we need to find objects that represent our powers, Jax asked. No, Ren said. I think we are the focus points now. He looked at the table with its 6 indentations. Our powers don't come from objects. They come from inside us. He placed his hand on the indentation nearest to him. Let's try. One by one, the guardians placed their hands on the indentations around the table. As each one did, their magic flowed into the table, making the stone glow with their color. Now what? Talon asked. We need to connect, Ren said. He reached out with his free hand and took Mira's. She took Darian's, and soon they formed a complete circle around the table. The moment the circle was complete, the heart began to rise from the table. It floated at eye level, spinning slowly. Its light grew brighter, filling the chamber. I can feel it, Mira whispered. I can feel all of you. Ren could feel it too, a connection to each of the guardians, their powers flowing into him and his into them. The heart spun faster, its light turning from blue to white. Images appeared around them again, but these weren't from the past. They showed what was happening now. The Nightbringer had defeated Headmaster Valen and was moving through the academy, searching for them. The shield around Sunspire was almost gone. "We need to go back," Ren said. "We need to face it." "We're not ready," Darian argued. "We'll be killed just like my parents?" Ren finished. "They died protecting this place, and they weren't the first." He looked at the images on the walls showing centuries of guardians defending Sunspire. "This is what we're meant to do." The others looked uncertain, but they didn't. "Let go of each other's hands. The unity spell is stronger now," Mira said. "I can feel it." "But is it strong enough?" Kane asked. The heart suddenly flashed so brightly they had to close their eyes. When they opened them again, they were no longer in the chamber beneath the library. They stood in the great hall, still holding hands in a circle with the heart, floating between them. The Nightbringer stood at the far end of the hall. Around it, shadows moved like living things, breaking tables and chairs. "There you are," it said, its voice echoing. "I've been looking for you." Shadows shot toward them like spears, but before they could hit, a shield of light formed around the 6 guardians. The shadows broke against it like waves on rocks. "Impossible," the Nightbringer hissed. "How did you master the unity spell so quickly?" Ren felt the power flowing through him, stronger than anything he had felt before. "We're stronger together," he said, "just like those who came before us." The Nightbringer laughed, a cold sound that made the air freeze. "Your parents thought the same thing, and now they're dead." It raised both hands. A wave of darkness rolled toward them, larger and stronger than before. "Hold on to each other," Ren called. "Don't break the circle." The darkness hit their shield, with a sound like thunder. The shield held, but they could feel it weakening. "We need to attack," Darian said through gritted teeth. "Defense isn't enough." "How?" Lyra asked. "If we break the circle, we lose the unity spell." The heart spun faster between them, almost too bright to look at. Ren could feel it pulling at his power, demanding more. "The heart," he said suddenly. "It's not just for defense. It's a weapon." He focused on the crystal, pushing his power into it. The others followed his lead. The heart absorbed their combined magic, growing larger and brighter. The Nightbringer sent another wave of darkness, stronger than the first. The shield cracked but held. "Now!" Ren shouted. All 6 of them pushed their power into the heart at once. The crystal shot forward like an arrow of pure light, straight toward the Nightbringer. The creature tried to dodge, but the heart followed it, moving with impossible speed. When it hit, there was a blinding flash and a sound like 1,000 thunderstorms. When they could see again, the Nightbringer was gone. In its place was a small black stone smoking on the floor. The heart floated back to them, its light soft and warm again. "Did we win?" Jax asked, not quite believing it. Ren walked over to the black stone. He could feel dark energy coming from. "Not completely," he said. "This is just a piece of the Nightbringer. There will be more." "But we drove it back," Mira said. "We saved Sunspire." Outside, the golden shield was growing stronger again, pushing back the dark clouds. Headmaster Valen appeared at the entrance to the great hall, leaning heavily on a staff. He looked tired but alive. "Well done," he said, smiling proudly. "You've taken your first steps as true guardians." The 6 of them looked at each other, still feeling the connection of the unity spell, even though they had dropped their hands. "What happens now?" Ren asked. "Now," the headmaster said, "your real training begins." The days after the attack were busy at Sunspire Academy. Students and teachers worked together to repair the damaged buildings. The golden shield still protected them, but it had grown weaker. It flickered sometimes, especially at night. Ren spent most of his time in the central tower with Headmaster Valen. He learned more about the heart of Sunspire and how to control its power. "Your connection to the heart grows stronger each day," the headmaster said as they sat in his study. "But you need more training before the Shadowed Ones return." "How long do we have?" Ren asked. "A week. Maybe less." The old man looked tired. He had barely slept since the attack. They're gathering their forces. Next time they'll bring their full army. Ren looked out the window at the students working below. They don't deserve this. None of them asked to be part of a war. War rarely asks permission before it arrives, the headmaster said sadly. But we have one advantage the shadowed ones don't know about. What's that? You're not the only one with special blood. The headmaster stood up and walked to the door. Come with me. They walked through the academy to the East Tower where the most advanced students trained. In a large round room with high windows, Mira was practicing with 4 other students. Their hands glowed with different colored lights as they fought against magical targets. The 5 guardians, the headmaster said, or at least their descendants. Ren watched as Mira moved with grace and power. Her silver magic formed shapes like birds and wolves that attacked the targets. I had no idea she could do that, Ren said. She's been training in secret for years, just like the others. The other 4 students were all from different years at the academy. One was Darian, the 3rd-year student who had watched Ren in the Great Hall. His magic was gold, similar to the shield around the academy. Together with the heart, the 5 guardians created Sunspire long ago, the headmaster explained. Their power combined with yours might be enough to defeat the shadowed ones for good. Mira noticed them watching and came over. Ren, how's your training going? Not as well as yours, it seems, he said. Why didn't you tell me about your powers? I was sworn to secrecy just like the others. Only those with guardian blood are told the full history of Sunspire. Darian joined them. Up close, his face looked less perfect than Ren had thought. He had a scar across his left cheek. So this is the Heart Keeper, Darian said, looking Ren up and down. He's smaller than I expected. Size isn't everything, Darian, Mira said sharply. Let's hope not. Our lives may depend on him. The headmaster stepped between them. You'll need to work together if we're going to survive. The shadowed ones will return with greater numbers and stronger magic. We've been practicing the unity spell, Darian said, but it's not working without the 6th power. The 6th power? Ren asked. You, Mira explained. The Heart Keeper is the center of the unity spell. Without you, our powers can't fully combine. Ren felt the weight of responsibility grow heavier on his shoulders. I don't know if I'm ready for this. You don't have a choice, Darian said coldly. None of us do. A loud bell rang through the academy, 3 long, deep rings. The warning bell, the headmaster said, his face growing pale. They're coming back already. They ran to the windows. In the distance, beyond the golden shield, dark clouds were gathering. They moved too fast to be natural. Everyone to the central tower, the headmaster ordered. Now. Students cleared the hallways as they ran. The shield around the academy flickered more rapidly now, sections of it fading completely before lighting up again. When they reached the central tower, the other 3 guardians were already there. They stood around the heart which pulsed weakly on its pedestal. The shield is failing faster than we expected, one of them said, a girl with red hair and green magic swirling around her hands. Ren, take your position, the headmaster said, pointing to the pedestal. Ren placed his hands on the heart. The crystal warmed under his touch, its light growing stronger. Guardians, form the circle, the headmaster instructed. Mira, Darian, and the other 3 students stood around Ren in a perfect circle. They raised their hands, palms facing inward. Begin the unity spell, the headmaster said. Mira started, her silver magic flowing from her hands toward Ren. By the light of the moon I offer protection, the student with green magic went next. By the strength of the earth, I offer stability, then the one with blue magic. By the freedom of the wind, I offer wisdom, the 4th guardian, with red magic. By the warmth of the flame, I offer courage. Finally, Darian. By the brightness of the sun, I offer power. Their magic flowed into the heart, making it glow brighter with each addition. The crystal began to rise from the pedestal, floating in the air before Ren. Now, Ren, the headmaster said, accept their gifts and complete the circle. Ren didn't know what to say, but words came to his lips as if someone else was speaking through him. By the blood of my ancestors, I unite these powers and seal our bond. The heart flashed brilliantly. Beams of light shot from it to each of the guardians, connecting them all. The golden shield around the academy suddenly grew 10 times brighter, expanding outward. Outside, the dark clouds hit the shield. There was a sound like thunder as the two forces met. But the shield held strong. "It's working," Mira cried. Then, without warning, a black arrow of energy broke through the shield. It shot straight toward the central tower, smashing through the wall. The unity spell broke apart. The guardians fell back, their magic fading. The heart dropped back to its pedestal, its light dimming. Through the hole in the wall stepped a single figure. It wasn't one of the shadowed ones from before. This one wore armor that seemed to be made of darkness itself. No mask covered its face. Instead, its features shifted constantly, never settling on one appearance. "Nightbringer," the headmaster whispered in horror. "Valen," the figure said. Its voice echoed strangely, as if many people were speaking at once. "It's been a long time." The headmaster moved to stand between the Nightbringer and the students. "How did you break through the shield?" "You're not the only one who's been preparing." The Nightbringer looked at each of them, its eyes finally resting on Ren. "So this is the new Heartkeeper. He looks like his father." Ren felt cold fear run through him. "You knew my father?" "I killed your father," the Nightbringer said simply. "And your mother. Now I'll finish what I started." It raised its hand. Dark energy gathered around its fingers, forming a sword made of shadows. "Run," the headmaster told the students. "All of you." "We're not leaving you," Mira said. "This isn't a fight you can win. Not yet." The headmaster's hands began to glow with white light. "Find the hidden chamber beneath the library. The answers you need are there." Before anyone could argue, the headmaster thrust his hands forward. A blinding light filled the room. When it faded, a wall of white energy separated them from the headmaster and the Nightbringer. "Go!" the headmaster shouted through the barrier. "I'll hold it back as long as I can." Darian grabbed Ren's arm. "Come on, we need to move." Ren wanted to stay and help, but he knew the headmaster was right. They weren't ready to face the Nightbringer. Together, the 6 of them ran from the central tower, carrying the heart with them. Behind them, flashes of light and darkness showed that the battle had begun. The fate of Sunspire now rested in their hands. Chaos filled the halls of Sunspire Academy. Students rushed in all directions as the dark shapes in the sky grew closer. "Follow me," Headmaster Valen said to Ren. "We need to get to the central tower." They pushed through the crowd of frightened students. Teachers tried to keep order, guiding everyone toward the underground shelters. "Ren!" a voice called. Mira ran toward them, her face worried. "What's happening?" "The academy is under attack," Ren said. The headmaster looked at Mira. "Come with us. We need all the help we can get." The 3 of them hurried up a spiral staircase. Through every window they could see more dark shapes approaching. They looked like ships, but unlike any Ren had ever seen. They were black as night and moved without making a sound. "Who are they?" Mira asked. "The shadowed ones," the headmaster answered. "They've returned after 16 years. They reached the top of the central tower, a large round room filled with maps, books, and strange devices. 5 people were already there, the senior defenders of Sunspire. "Headmaster," one of them said, "the shields are failing. We can't hold them off much longer." "How many ships?" the headmaster asked. "At least 20. They're using magic we've never seen before." Another boom shook the building. This one was much closer. The windows rattled in their frames. "They've breached the outer wall," someone reported. The headmaster turned to Ren. "It's time for you to know the truth, all of it." He walked to a bookshelf and pulled a hidden lever. The shelf slid aside, revealing a small room. Inside was a pedestal, and on it sat a crystal that glowed with a soft blue light. "This is the heart of Sunspire," the headmaster explained. "It powers the shields that protect the academy. It's failing because it needs the touch of someone with the right blood Someone from the line of its creators. Ren stared at the crystal. And you think that's me? I know it is. Your parents were the last guardians of the heart. When they died, we thought the line was broken forever. Then we found you. Another explosion rocked the tower. Part of the ceiling fell, sending dust and stones flying. We're out of time, one of the defenders said. They're inside the academy. The headmaster nodded to Ren. Touch the crystal. If I'm right, you can restore the shields and push them back. Ren looked at Mira. She nodded encouragingly. Slowly, he reached out toward the glowing crystal. As his fingers touched its smooth surface, a warm feeling spread up his arm. The crystal's light grew brighter, pulsing in time with his heartbeat. Images flashed through his mind. A man and woman standing where he stood now, their hands on the same crystal. They looked back at him, smiling sadly. His parents. I can see them, Ren whispered. They're with you, the headmaster said. Their spirits remain in the heart. The crystal's light turned from blue to gold. It filled the room, then shot upward through the ceiling in a beam of bright light. Outside, a golden shield began to form around the academy. It pushed against the dark ships, forcing them back. It's working, Mira cried. But then, one of the ships broke through. It crashed into the side of the central tower. The whole building shook violently. Get down, a defender shouted. The wall exploded inward. When the dust cleared, 3 figures stood in the gap. They wore black armor that seemed to swallow the light around them. Their faces were hidden behind masks shaped like animal skulls. The shadowed ones, the headmaster said, his voice hard. The tallest of the 3 stepped forward. Valen, you've grown old. And you haven't changed at all, Mortis, the headmaster replied. Still hiding behind masks. The one called Mortis laughed. It was a cold sound that made Ren shiver. We've come for the heart, Mortis said. Give it to us and we might let your students live. You know I can't do that. The defenders moved forward, drawing their weapons. Each one glowed with different colored magic. Blue, green, yellow, purple, and red. Stay back, one of them told Ren and Mira. Mortis raised his hand. Darkness gathered around his fingers. Last chance, Valen. Defenders, protect the heart, the headmaster commanded. The room exploded with light and sound as magic filled the air. The defenders attacked the shadowed ones with everything they had. Beams of colored light crashed against shields of darkness. Ren and Mira crouched behind, the pedestal with the heart. The crystal still glowed, but its light was fading. We need to help them, Mira said. How? We're not trained for this. One of the defenders fell, hit by a blast of dark magic, then another. The remaining 3 fought harder, but they were being pushed back. The headmaster joined the fight. His magic was white, like pure sunlight. When it touched the darkness, it made it break apart. But there were too many shadowed ones. More had climbed through the hole in the wall. Ren, the headmaster called between spells. The heart needs more power. You must give it your strength. Ren didn't understand, but he put his hands back on the crystal. He tried to push his energy into it like he did when making fire. Nothing happened. It's not working, he called. Focus on what you're fighting for, the headmaster said. Not just the academy, but everyone in it. Ren closed his eyes. He thought of the students running scared in the hallways. He thought of Mira beside him, of his teachers, of the city below that depended on Sunspire for protection. Heat built in his chest, then flowed down his arms into the crystal. The heart began to pulse brighter, its light growing stronger. It's working, Mira whispered. The golden shield around the academy strengthened. Outside, the dark ships were being pushed back further. Mortis saw what was happening. The boy, he shouted. Stop him! 2 shadowed ones broke away from the fight and rushed toward Ren and Mira. Look out! Ren cried. Mira stood up. To Ren's surprise, her hands glowed with silver light. She had never told him she could do magic. Keep focusing on the heart, she said. I'll hold them off. She threw her hands forward. Silver light shot from her fingers, making a wall between them and the attackers. Ren poured more energy into the heart. The crystal was so bright now it hurt to look at it. "The shield is almost complete," the headmaster called. "Just a little more, Ren." With a final push, Ren sent everything he had into the crystal. The heart flashed so brightly that everyone in the room had to cover their eyes. When the light faded, the shadowed ones were gone. The hole in the wall was sealed with golden energy. Ren fell to his knees, exhausted. Mira caught him before he hit the floor. "You did it," she said, smiling. The headmaster walked over to them. He looked tired but relieved. "You've shown great courage today, both of you. But this is just the beginning." "The beginning?" Ren asked weakly. "They're gone, aren't they?" "Not gone, only pushed back. They'll return with greater forces." The headmaster looked out through the window at the golden shield surrounding the academy. "We need to prepare. The real battle for Sunspire is still to come." Outside, the sun was rising. Its light made the shield glow even brighter, like a second sun protecting them all. For now, they were safe. But Ren knew that somewhere out there, the shadowed ones were planning their next attack. And next time, they would be ready for him. The sun was setting behind the tall golden towers of Sunspire Academy. The school looked beautiful against the orange sky. The main tower reached so high, it seemed to touch the clouds. Ren stood at the window of the east tower. He was a new student at the academy. His dark hair fell over his eyes as he looked at the training grounds below. Other students practiced fighting with glowing weapons. Some used magic that made colorful lights flash across the field. "Watching the fighters again?" a voice asked. Ren turned to see Mira. She was his friend since the first day at the academy. Her red hair was tied back, and she wore the blue uniform of a second-year student. "I can't help it," Ren said. "Tomorrow is the selection day. I need to know what I'm up against." Mira walked to the window. "You've trained hard. You'll do fine." Ren wasn't so sure. He had only been at Sunspire for 3 months. Most students trained for years before they tried to join the Defenders. The Defenders were the best fighters at the academy. They protected the school and the city below. "Master Lin says I have talent," Ren said. "But talent isn't enough, not when everyone else has trained their whole lives." Mira put her hand on his shoulder. "You're different, Ren. You know it. I know it. That's why they let you in late." Ren looked at his hands. They looked normal, but he knew they weren't. Since he was a child, he could make fire appear when he felt strong emotions. It scared his parents. They sent him away to live with his uncle in the mountains. There he learned to control his power. Then one day, a teacher from Sunspire came to see him. They said they had been looking for him for years. "The dreams are getting worse," Ren said quietly. Mira's face turned serious. "What did you see this time?" "The same thing. Dark shapes coming from the sky, the academy burning, people running and screaming." Ren closed his eyes. And that voice saying the same words, "The fall of Sunspire begins." "Did you tell Master Lin?" Ren shook his head. "He'll think I'm crazy, or that I'm making excuses because I'm scared of the selection." "These aren't just bad dreams, Ren. The last time you had visions like this." "I know, the flood in my village. No one believed me then either." The bell rang, echoing through the halls of the academy. It was time for the evening meal. Students began to leave their rooms and walk toward the great hall. "We should go," Mira said. "You need to eat. Tomorrow is a big day." They walked together through the stone hallways. The walls were lined with paintings of famous graduates. Some had become great leaders. Others had saved cities from monsters or enemy armies. The great hall was huge. The ceiling was so high you could barely see it. Hundreds of candles floated in the air, giving light to the room. Long tables filled the space. Students sat together based on their year and training group. Ren and Mira found seats with the other first and second-year students. Food appeared on golden plates. Roast meat, fresh bread, and vegetables from the academy gardens. As they ate, the headmaster stood up at the front table. Headmaster Valen was a tall man with a long white beard. His eyes were kind, but also showed great wisdom. Everyone respected him. "Students of Sunspire," he said in a loud voice, "tomorrow is an important day. The selection for new defenders begins at sunrise." The hall grew quiet. Everyone knew how important the defenders were. For those who are chosen, a new path begins. For those who are not, remember that you can try again next year. Every student at Sunspire has value. Ren looked around the room. Many older students seemed confident. The first years looked nervous, just like him. "Now enjoy your meal and rest well," the headmaster finished. As they ate, Ren noticed someone watching him from across the hall. It was Darian, the top student in the third year. He was tall with blonde hair and always wore a perfect uniform. Everyone knew he would be chosen as a defender. "Why is Darian looking at you?" Mira whispered. "I don't know," Ren said. "He's never spoken to me." After dinner, they walked back to their rooms. The hallways were dark now, lit only by blue magical lights along the walls. "Try to sleep tonight," Mira said when they reached her door. "And don't worry about the dreams." Ren nodded and continued to his own room. It was small but comfortable, with a bed, a desk, and a shelf for his books. Through the window he could see the city lights below the academy. He changed clothes and got into bed, but sleep didn't come. He stared at the ceiling, thinking about the selection tomorrow and the dreams that haunted him. A soft knock at his doctor made him sit up. It was very late for visitors. "Who is it?" he called. The door opened slowly. To his surprise, Headmaster Valen entered the room. His face looked serious. "I'm sorry to disturb you so late, Ren," the headmaster said. Ren quickly stood up. "Headmaster, is something wrong? I need to speak with you about something important." The old man closed the door. "It's about your dreams." Ren felt his heart beat faster. "My dreams? How do you know about them?" "I know many things about my students, especially those with special gifts like yours." "They're just bad dreams," Ren said. "I'm nervous about tomorrow." The headmaster shook his head. "No, Ren, they are not just dreams, they are warnings." Ren sat down on his bed. "Warnings? About what?" "About the danger coming to Sunspire." The headmaster walked to the window and looked out at the night sky. "You see, you are not the only one who has seen these visions. I have seen them too." "The dark shapes from the sky? The academy burning?" "Yes. The signs have been appearing for months. That is why I sent Master Lin to find you." "Me? But why?" The headmaster turned to look at Ren. "Because of who you are, because of what you can do." "I can make fire," Ren said, "but so can other students. Not like you. Your power comes from an ancient source, a line of warriors who once protected Sunspire hundreds of years ago." Ren couldn't believe what he was hearing. "My family were just farmers. We never had anything to do with Sunspire until now." "Your uncle never told you the truth about your parents, did he?" "He said they died when I was young." The headmaster sighed. "They didn't just die, Ren. They gave their lives protecting this academy from the same enemy that now returns." Ren stood up, his hands shaking. "What enemy? What are you talking about?" "The Shadowed Ones, a group that has hated Sunspire since it was built. They attacked 16 years ago. Your parents were among those who fought them back." "If what you're saying is true, why didn't anyone tell me?" "To protect you. The Shadowed Ones would have hunted you if they knew you survived. But now we need you. The power in your blood might be the only thing that can save us all." A loud boom shook the building. Dust fell from the ceiling. The headmaster looked up, his face pale. "It's happening. They're here already." Alarms began to ring throughout the academy. Students' voices filled the hallways as they woke up confused and scared. "What do we do?" Ren asked, his heart pounding. "Come with me," the headmaster said. "The selection day will have to wait. The real battle for Sunspire begins now." Ren followed the headmaster into the hallway. Other students were running, some still in their night clothes. Through the windows, Ren could see what had made the noise. Dark shapes moved across the night sky, heading straight for the academy. His nightmares were coming true.